Hey, folks, just a friendly reminder that all shows on the Madness Comic Network are produced by their individual hosts and in no way reflect the opinions of the network as a whole. The statements in the following broadcast are not necessarily the opinions of the Madness Comic Network, its staff, sponsors, or contributors. This show is rated TVMA, as are all of them and all those other letters. Viewer discretion is highly advised, and, just do what Doc says. Read that again. Peace, everybody.
Flip City Magazine is just really pulling out all the stops, man. Your guys' production value of this magazine has gone insane. I mean, look at that. I mean, I remember when you guys, it was black and white. Even when it was black and white, I thought your quality was great. But damn, they just really stepping it up a notch. Look at this. James Corbett, boys. James Corbett.
Genuinely cutting. But also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
Do you have my espresso bean? How'd you get out of prison? Good lawyer. Enough, Doc. Where's my bean? I don't have it. Jimmy's been kidnapped. Help me, and I'll do anything. What's in it for me? Information about your mother. Detective Mickey Potatoes is back, and this time the stakes are higher than ever. A priceless espresso bean is missing and a life is on the line. Join Mickey in an all-ages noir adventure packed with comedy, suspense, and heart. Support Detective Potatoes, Lord of the Bean on Kickstarter, and unlock exclusive rewards. Books, poker chips, minifigures, and more. Back the campaign today and help bring this thrilling mystery to life. Support independent storytelling. Support Detective Potatoes.
Madness Comic Network and comic-related madness proudly presents Madness Tuesday Morning Brew. Tune in to our content on Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt on YouTube.
Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday. I hope you had your coffee or you have it in your hand because we're going to have a great time today here on the Tuesday Morning Brew. I'm your hostess with the hottest coffee around, Laurie Calcaterra, writer-creator of Path of the Pale Rider. Just a quick couple updates. We are back rolling on art production. Gilbert is done with some other projects, and he is turning out pages of Path of the Pale Rider number 5 like so fast. So we should be seeing the end of this issue real quick. I'm so excited to see pages with Dwayne Fink on them. Lots of good stuff happens in the last half of this issue. And Brandon Starocci, I can see you in the back and you're being obnoxious. It's going to be that kind of show, people, because my guest is none other than Brandon Starocci, who, if you know me and you've been following around with me this whole time of Path of the Pale Rider, Brandon and I have been friends and zombie enthusiasts since we started. I think I was campaigning for issue number 1 when I met Brandon and Sam and Trey. So we made our own little pact where the zombie trio, quad, I don't know. There's 3 stories, but there's 4 of us. And so he's been around since then. But this is the first time he's been on the show. Go figure. But I mean, it's in the day and he has a real job. So, you know, things happen. Before I bring him on, there's one thing I wanted to let everybody know. We are going to be starting filming for the 5th short film. It's a quick one. It's a commercial, kind of like we did for the first one. You have the opportunity to be in these. These are fan interactive. It's super easy. All you need to do, there's 2 things on the list. 1, eat some candy. Something that will turn your tongue a color. Example A. So it can be blue, it could be red, orange, whatever flavor, color, candy you want, as long as it turns your tongue a certain color. And then take a selfie and send it to me. That's it. That's all you got to do. Brandon, I expect you to participate like you always do. Brandon usually participates, so that's good. But you will, if you send me a picture, you will be in the short film. So I just want to make sure I start collecting those because usually it takes a while for those to trickle in. And then I'm going to start filming shortly. If you haven't seen the Killer Karen show, it's been pretty crazy. Just going to... Yeah, it's a thing. I have a list of people that want to come on that show, and it's just wild. I think that the more we do, the wilder they get. I feel like I have to keep cutting things out because they're just out of control. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. You didn't hear what? Didn't hear the ads? I didn't hear you laughing at my comment. I was laughing because we all know who's the angelic one here. It ain't Carrie. That's the truth. And good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So let's bring in today's guest. None other than Brandon Starocci from the car, no less. Good morning.
Yeah, last time I was in the car, Pop said I was in the drive-thru.
Getting what?
Food. But no, I'm just in the car, you know, taking an extended break because I deserve it. And
Gotcha. See, has a real job, people. That's the thing. Has to go to the car, do the thing, and then go right back to work. That stinks. I'm sorry. But I'm so glad you're here. This has been a long time coming, man, because we've been on shows together, like as panelists, and I've seen you on the same shows that I go on and interact with, you know, hosts. But this is the first time I've had the pleasure of having you on this show, so I get to ask you all the questions. I don't know if I mean,
not like I'm not used to it anyways. I feel like a lot of times it's, you know, you're just really drilling me with questions and asking certain things, but
why gotta say that?
But yeah, No, yeah, oh yeah, no, you're really poking me. Is that better?
No, it's not better. Good morning, George. Oh, this is gonna be a fun show today. So Brandon, you are running a Kickstarter right now for issues 1 through 6. This is one of the joys, I think, for us, is that we can watch each other's career, watch each other's progress, and I really am happy for you, man. You've had lots of success, and I'm really proud of you. But before I'm gonna pull up the Kickstarter. We'll show everybody all the good stuff. But I'm sorry, what?
Wait, because the drill comment. Yeah, I'll stop.
Carrie mentioned that she was an angel. She's quite the opposite in the comments. She'll have fun. It'll be fun. So, Brandon, we always start the show with your origin story. So if people are, oh my God, I'm not gonna, no, we'll get there. We'll get there. But Brandon, take us all the way back to the beginning. Tell everybody how you got started in comics. What was your influences, and then what really like motivated you to start making your own comic?
Yeah, so back in August 28th, 1996, I was born, and okay, so yeah, no, with that comment in mind as well, I'm going to speed that up. So back in 2014, I was a senior in high school, and I had this idea that I really, I've always been a zombie fan. I had this idea that I wanted to make some sort of zombie telling. I've always asked myself the question, how would I personally survive in the zombie apocalypse? So then I really dug into that, and I have 2 brothers myself. Avalon is about 3 brothers basically in this family. So it's just really kind of that family mentality. I think of my grandma, my grandpas, my uncles, my aunts, cousins and all that stuff too. So I'm like, how would they all kind of survive? So then it started really becoming more of like a thought. Back in 2014, I knew nothing, any of that stuff. So then put that to rest. 2018, I meet Alan, and then we kind of like are both in that creative, the fake Alan, he doesn't exist, my alter ego.
There is a conspiracy theory started by myself that Alan does not actually exist. Brandon keeps posting pictures. It's me and Alan, but I'm like, that's just some rando that Brandon's taking pictures with. We've never seen Alan in person.
2018 is when I lost my mind, basically. So 2018 is when I lost my mind and met Alan, my imaginary friend, and we kind of went through just kind of creative process. I mean, he was in a band before, so he has that whole thing under his belt. I wanted to kind of direct and all that stuff as well, and get into like cinema, but obviously we have no money at this time as well. But so with that being said, I threw this idea at him with Avalon before it was actually Avalon. He liked the kind of the generic pitch that I had at the time too. So we really started figuring out what we wanted to do or how we could really make this possible. And that's when, after that, we were going to make a novel. Didn't want to do a novel because I don't like reading books. I'm not a book person. So I saw a comic on the table, Walking Dead comic, and I texted Alan, asked if he would be interested in doing that instead. He loved the idea, so that's really my intro into comics, other than like I never really read comics growing up. It's always been The Walking Dead or like some Batman titles here and there, but nothing consistent to the point where I was like, okay, I need to get this, I need to get that. It was actually after doing Avalon is when I really started to get appreciation for it and start investing in more so indie comics nowadays too, but other comics as well. Like I'm more open to reading them and kind of getting into them now. But yeah.
You mentioned Walking Dead, and I think you and I both have that same influence. It's like I never really read comics as a kid. I was more of an adult when I started reading comics, and it was like Kirkman books, Invincible, Walking Dead, East of West. Were you reading anything else besides Walking Dead, or is it just like it wasn't until you started writing that you were like, all right, I'll read Path of the Pale Rider. Yeah.
And that's it. No, it wasn't really until I started kind of, making Avalon is when I really started investing or looking into comics more so. It was really just The Walking Dead. And like I said, a few of those Batmans. But other than that, before the comics, that was really it. And then I really started getting into like some Dark Horse and some other Image comics as well. But nothing again like that I'm like really reaching out towards and investing my time and effort in. It's more so again just putting time into Avalon and then just independent comics as well, like yourself.
So that's interesting to me because you weren't really into comics, but you wanted to make comics.
Yeah, I think it's more of the visual media that I was looking for too, because I mean, you make short films too. There's a lot of work. There's sometimes there could be a lot of money that goes into it, and I think the comic industry is the next best thing. You're still getting that visual satisfaction. You still get to see things and create moods, create kind of like an image that you're trying to, that you have in your head on paper. So that was really the idea of where we were in trying to, again, capture that visual kind of like satisfaction with everything too. Because again, I'm not a huge reader. If I would have to read back a book of my own book to kind of see like what I'm doing for the sequel of the book, I would just be like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. So I need that visual satisfaction.
Oh my goodness. So that's interesting to me because, like I said, you weren't into comics, but you wanted to make comics. So then how did you know what makes a good comic? How did you figure it out? And it's one of those things because when I bring up Avalon, you guys look at it. Avalon is not your typical comic. It breaks rules. And it's an amazing piece of art because it does its own thing. So what was it that gave Avalon its distinct style? Was it because nuts to the research, I'm just going to do what I want? Was it Demetrius's influence that kind of give it its visuals? Like, how did you come across this distinct style that you guys have without reading comics to know like what you should do?
So if we're breaking rules, there are rules that I don't know about. So again, that goes to an experience of almost reading comics and all that stuff too. So it's just the story element things is just simply what we find to be a good story and all that stuff as well. The visual part of it as well is mostly I would kind of put that on Demetrius as well, because at this point in our relationship, knowing each other and kind of working with each other these last few years here, he kind of like has this like feel for Avalon. I've said it before. Where it's both of our babies, kind of deal. Like Avalon was, it was close to me way back then. It was like an actual project that kind of just, I feel it's really close to me. But now since this is Demetrius's first kind of comic that he's worked on, I feel like he's grown a love for just the title at this point. And, he's always kind of articulated that he likes his characters. He likes the story as well. But like, I feel like it's just that extra, like kind of passion he brings into it because it's his first kind of comic. And so we're both growing up together in this industry basically at the same time. But a lot of those things that he brings, we obviously wanted the black, white, and blood. And to find somebody who could do it in a way like Demetrius was honestly hard. I mean, honestly, when we first found him, that wasn't even the idea. It was just we had different concepts that we'll be showing in the future in trade paperback form. But we had different concepts and all that stuff too. He just started to come into his own, and the art that he's kind of putting out now is just, it's an amazing style that I love. I feel like I'm spoiled with it as well, and I'm always.
Oh, you are. You're totally spoiled.
Other comics like it, but it's hard to do. You know what I mean? So
yes. But that's what I was kind of getting at, is because like with music, they have rules like, follow this chord progression, but you learn the rules and then you learn when to break them. And you get something new and exciting when you think outside the box. And that's where Avalon is. It's new and exciting, and it's a different style, and it's a different aesthetic than what most people will see. And that's what's exciting. So that's it. It's I guess it's just luck. It's fortuitous that you guys were like, we don't read comics. We're going to do what we want. And just like stumbled upon gold. You know what I mean? That it's so visually pleasing and the story is great. And of course, I love horror and zombies. So it's just like you get sucked right in. So for me, I was just like, how did you find your formula? And it's just like, we got lucky.
He probably.
Shut up.
I mean, I'm only speaking for myself in that kind of, because I'm pretty sure Demetrius is really, adamant about reading stuff and comics.
Lou, this is it. If you don't know the rules, you have no limitations.
Right. And for myself, that's it. I think Demetrius knows more things, but I think just on my level of like being the creator and like, the writer and all that too, is giving Demetrius that artistic freedom. And now, and again, that again happens over time. And just knowing what we both wanted, at half the time he knows what I want before I even want it. And he kind of comes up with an idea when he reads the script of what he's reading. And he's like, okay, I have an idea. Let me send you pencils or a sketch of what I'm thinking. And then I just, like, at 99% of the time, I'm rolling with it. It's giving him that creative liberty and allowing him to do that stuff. And again, at this point, I know he's there's so much passion that goes into this project on his end as well. It's not just a job to him. So I have that, what's the word I'm looking for there? Like almost like a, not respect, but like I'm just going to use it for a lack of a better one. So like respect on it as well, and giving him that liberty to do so.
That freedom, that artistic freedom. Yeah, that's important. And I mean, like you said, it comes over time. And he knows the characters so well. He's invested in the story. And like you said, you can really see that when you read this book, that the characters are loved and they're intricate. They have personalities. They're not just throwaways like this dude that I kill off in the bar nobody cares about. Like, these are fleshed out characters. And that's your story and my story are different that way, where I have like one main guy and like people come in and out of the story. You have this whole cast that we're attached to, that are going through different issues, and then they cross each other's paths, and sometimes they leave each other's paths. And it's just really interesting to me how you develop that with the whole cast of characters, because once we're attached to everybody, I'm going to say something mean. You can start killing them off and we will care. But it's like when you don't know how to develop that cast, and then people start dying, that's when we get like Fear the Walking Dead, where it's like, they're dead.
Who cares?
I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, so that's really hard. How did you, when you wrote this, you wrote it as all 6 together, like a whole, because 6 is your first arc, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So were you writing it as a whole, or were you writing it issue by issue? Like, how did you get us to be emotionally invested in this family?
To answer the first question, no, we've actually changed our style of writing, just from learning, trial and error almost. This first season, it was, we had a general understanding of what we wanted to tell, and then we were just kind of piggybacking off of the last issue and kind of just writing and the progression, like, okay, we know where we want to go. Let's just kind of write it and issue to issue to issue. We've changed that format with season 2. Is just like, okay, we're going to scope out exactly how we see season 2, scope out each individual issue, and then do dialogue. So we're basically done with season 2 writing wise. We have a little bit, I think 2 issues maybe for dialogue, but the whole scope out and all that stuff is done. Now for the characters per se, and creating that, interaction, I guess, for readers to kind of actually really care about each one of these characters, even specific characters that are only in the issue or the series for 2 issues. But I think it's just basing these characters off real people and adding elements to them to make them feel even more raw and real. And I think, because again, I've said this in the past as well, I like to keep a lot of this project as close to me as possible. With that being said, again, my family is, a huge influence. I'm a huge influence. It's just what I've dealt with in life. People I just watch, what I work with and kind of see. I use a lot of people's real life interactions and just life in general to kind of and put it into these stories and just have people feel for a lot of these things, because it's easy, I guess, with this family though too, is there's a lot of issues going around this family that we really haven't touched a lot on, but just kind of hinted towards, that people can simply relate to, anxieties, depressions, that's at an all-time high nowadays. And then just kind of feeling that separation, that burden of not being there for certain other people, so it's just like, we're showing the audience that, these characters are going through tough times already, and now we're even making it tougher with the apocalypse.
I only laugh because we're never nice to our characters. You know what I mean? Like, here we are. They already have issues, and now we're like, well, we're going to drop them in a zombie apocalypse and see how they react.
and that's just it, though, too. It's like, okay, good luck, buddy.
Right.
So, and I think that's where we're at, though, too. And obviously, that, too, going with your stuff. It's just like, whenever you feel like these characters are going to be on an up and up, it something happens to kind of be a bump in the road and kind of stall that kind of progression. So I think that makes for a good story and makes for good character development and all that stuff, too.
Good morning. By the way, good morning, Al. Good morning,
Good
Matt.
morning.
Matthew, nice to see you. I wanted to talk about George's comment. So George first says, ignorance is bliss, knowledge is power, but it can also be constricting. So good for you guys. And then this one. So that's how I write too. I work out the entire arc and then write the issues and the dialogue. So you have 2 finished-ish, mostly, but at least you have it all planned out. Is there going to be a 3rd arc?
Yeah. So actually, with the 3rd arc, which is interesting, I just started really now talking about it. The 3rd arc is really the arc that made Alan and I really kind of do this and say, okay, yeah, this is why we're going to do this now. It's not so much, okay, we want to have a zombie story with these characters and going through all these issues.
You see, but that's the thing. I feel like you and I get put in the zombie genre, but it's really it's not about zombies. It's about the family.
Yeah.
In the zombie apocalypse is kind of the catalyst while everything is happening, but it's not really the zombies that are the important thing. It's a family.
Yeah. And I agree with that too. And that's probably one of my first questions I ask people even at events is like, are you a zombie fan? And I ride off of that no matter what way it is. There's no getting away from me.
Really?
So
what if they say no?
Yes, well, they say no. I'm like, okay, that's fine because this is a family story. Zombies are almost secondary and all that.
You're like, actually, it's not about zombies at all. It's about family.
So
core values.
But the funny thing is I'm not lying though either. So I'm just kind of like, it really is. It's about this family. It's about the drama. It's about like the interaction amongst all of each other. But the zombies are just that burden in their lives, just like any burden in any story, like a romance story. Okay, they got fired from a job. Now they're, or they're dealing with some sort of sickness or,
Tell me about romance, Brandon.
I'm not going to talk about romance.
What do you know about romance?
I'm not going to talk about romance. But you know what I'm saying. So like, it's just like, I don't remember what we're talking about now. I'm all up.
Yes, I win. I derailed Brandon. You were saying that you ask people if they like zombies, and even if they say no, you tell them it's okay. It's about this family. It's really about.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So that was done. So it's almost like just like you were saying though too is like zombies are secondary in this story. Obviously zombies are still a huge point, but it doesn't overvalue over the interaction amongst the characters and the relationship between the family members and all of that stuff as well. There was another part to your question. I can't remember what it was though, but
I don't remember. It's okay.
We'll do something.
We will move on. George says thank you. Yeah, it's what made the Walking Dead books fun to read too. Yeah, it was more about The Walking Dead was like about the survivors and how they interacted with each other with the pressure of the zombies always being there. So that's the similar, I think, to Brandon's. It's really about his family because it's Andy. And I really think that Andy is you. I'm just saying. I see Andy. I see you and Andy and you. And then the 2 brothers are probably your brothers who I have not met. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, all the characters that I write about, have a little piece of me in it as well, and all the, the brothers as well have little pieces of my brothers, and little pieces of other people I know, like, friends, family, and so, it's all kind of mixed up into really kind of making these characters crazy and having depth and all that stuff that goes along with them as well. That fits, that I see fit for the story overall, but. Yeah, I mean, of course, all the characters have a little piece of me as well. I have multi personalities, and I'm psychotic.
Well, we all know that Alan is a beautiful mind-esque projection. But who is Zaddy Mustache based off of? I must know. For those that don't know who I'm talking about. Okay, so this is Avalon, the Castle family, right? We're talking about the 3 brothers, but the figurehead, the father. We call him Zaddy Mustache because he has this glorious mustache.
Beautiful.
Who's this guy? Huh?
Who's this? Who's the dad take after?
Yeah. Does he have who's the influence for Zaddy Mustache? I must know.
Again, a lot of people, and just your typical dad look that just like when you look at this guy, you're like, he's got it figured out no matter what happens. And that's kind of like, just like, again, the mustache is very masculine and look at him.
If y'all have read this book, you know why that's funny.
Yeah. Right. So that's what I'm saying. So he's got it figured out, this is his family to run and rule. Not rule. I don't want to say it that way because that sounds negative. So this is his family, he protects them. But...
Hey. All right. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top here. Listen, so I got it up. Let's talk about it. All right. Avalon. For some reason, you know what? Let me refresh because it said that the sound wasn't there Do you want me to play the video, Brandon?
No, you don't have to, because it's just going to be a basic kind of thing that we're already talking over anyway. So
Okay. Let me I'm going to copy and paste the link here so everybody can follow along with the teacher.
I'm hoping.
Are you the teacher or am I the teacher? Here's the link, everybody. So you can follow along. You can go over to the campaign and take a walk around while we walk around. So this is for Avalon issues 1 through 6. You can follow the dysfunctional Castle family through a nightmarish journey as they search for everlasting safety in a world run by zombies. Dun, 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 dun. I like it. And so for people that are new to this, what are some of the, I love this. What, like these are some of the examples, but why don't you tell us, for people that are listening and not watching, what are some of the things that if they like popular media, what would, what do they resemble? You know what I'm trying to ask you? I'm not using words efficiently this morning.
No, you're not, and you're confusing me. No,
we'll just kick Brandon off the screen. What is this? The Killer Karen show? Come on. All right.
Yeah, that's
tell us.
No, so obviously everything you're seeing there as well has a lot of influence on what we do. Just me as a person, and then my creative,
Some people actually listen to the show and not visually watch the show.
Oh, so
that's why I was asking you to say it out loud.
I was just gonna beat around the bush. No, so like a couple different things is Dawn of the Dead, the remake, and just really any kind of Romero, of the kind of world anyways, because Romero, obviously, let's not sugarcoat it, just he made the zombies what they are today, you know what I mean? So we have to kind of use that as like almost like a backbone in this kind of world at this point. But the remake more so, with the intensity that the zombies bring, the fear that these zombies, kind of portray onto the characters that we know. The Walking Dead, because it's a juggernaut in the zombie kind of world anyway, so and everything's going to be similar to The Walking Dead, whether you like it or not. Because it just has a huge name, it has a huge title and all that stuff too. So it brings a lot of those elements of survival. Zombies, obviously our zombies are different, and our survival kind of telling is a little bit different, but those key aspects are there as well. 30 Days a Night, it's honestly probably one of my favorite, I don't know what you call that, what that would even be called, horror.
It's vampire horror, I would think.
Vampire horror, yeah. It's probably, I mean, it's one of my favorite kind of movies, and that kind of telling of it, the way they tell it. It's very gruesome. It's very, again, adding that fear factor to it, to these, vampires, and that's what we take inspiration from as well with our zombies and our and Avalon, is we want that fear to be embedded in these zombies. We don't want them to be almost like Walking Dead zombies, like, okay, it's just an inconvenience in our life. There's like an actual fear that comes with these things when you come across them and the way they are. It's actually funny. I'll actually go back a little bit. When Alan and I were talking about this originally, we were like, okay, what's a common fear that everybody has? And not everybody, but most people have, like, generally you're afraid of the dark. You're afraid of what you can't see. So we wanted to really imply that in Avalon, and you'll see more of that as issues come out and what I mean exactly. But we want to really embed that fear of the dark and fear of the what you're unable to see and all that stuff as well into Avalon. And 30 Days a Night really kind of shines that as well. And moving on to Stakeland, which is another vampire zombie-ish story. It's a vampire survival. It's like a B-level movie. I really enjoy it. It's a good movie for people who enjoy this kind of genre and this telling of stories. The Last of Us, obviously, it's a big juggernaut kind of zombie-ish infected storyline. The Crazies too, just because it's a good movie and it's crazy. I love The Crazy. It adds that little small town kind of vibe, and the characters. It's about, obviously you have like a main protagonist with the sheriff and all that stuff too, but it's really about this group, this character. They're trying to just survive, and adding that element to it. Sin City, because it has a lot of resemblance to just Demetrius' style and art and all that stuff as well, with the black, white, and having that pop of color as well. But in that specific case, we have the red title and all that stuff as well. So it's really just that pop and that black and white, and how he's able to illustrate that as well.
I'm surprised you didn't put 28 Days Later up here.
Me too.
Okay.
I'm not gonna, there's no reason why not. So again, like, to add, somebody else said that too, I can't remember who, but yeah, 28 Days does have a huge kind of thing as well. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I-
30
what was-
days. 30 Days of Night is a spectacular movie. 100%.
I really enjoy it. You know, it's again probably one of my favorite movies. I think that'd be a perfect miniseries. That would be awesome. I love, you know, the actors in it too, the story overall, but whatever. But
Isn't that
yeah,
Josh
28
Hartnett?
days.
Hartnett?
Oh, dude.
Josh Hart.
Hartnett, yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
how you say it.
I
He
always
did
say it
awesome in it. I like him as an actor too. He's a good actor. So, but yeah, 28 Days, you know, it resembles that a little bit as well. It obviously, because it just adds that horror kind of zombie aspect to it as well. But
They were
one thing
super
that,
aggressive too,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I see in your zombies is that they are super aggressive.
I guess one thing too, I will not really spoil it, but we're not going to be doing the blood thing though too. And
What?
you know, huh?
What?
Like
What do you
the,
mean
know
you're
how
not doing the blood thing?
the drop of blood thing? You know how like in 28 Days Later, it's just like,
Okay. I was like, you're not doing the red, black, white, and blood. I was about to be
No.
floored.
Like how like in 28 Days, like you get the zombies and they have the blood or saliva, and you're like,
Oh,
that's-
no.
That just adds like a whole new like chaotic thing, and it's just like, I feel like that makes it for a better movie rather than ongoing series. It's just impossible. You're not living through that. You're not.
Yeah.
There's no way around that one.
No. You don't have to. Obviously, don't spoil it. But do you
What?
tell us at some point how the infection or the zombieism works?
Yeah, there's an idea of it. It may or may not be through Avalon's title or something else that's kind of in
Excuse me?
I don't want to say universe because it's corny to say it, but yeah, that's in the Avalon universe.
Okay, so at some point people will understand
Yeah.
because we're at this point where we are in the story, guys, we still have no idea what
Mhm.
caused this whole thing. We're just like, I love how the story just like drops you right in the middle of it. And that's
Yeah,
I can
just
see why
chaos.
like Dawn of the Dead remake is an influence because that's how that's the best opening to a zombie movie, hands down.
Oh yeah,
Where it's
I
just
agree.
the
It's just
chaos and
chaos.
what the F, you know?
So quick too. It's just again,
Mhm.
you know, similar to what we're doing with Avalon. You meet these characters
Yeah.
very quickly. You see their daily life. You see what's going on. Then boom, you're kind of hit right into it. And yeah, no, it definitely adds that element to it. And that was part of the kind of just discussion though too. Is just let's just get right into it. Let's not. I was gonna say something. Let's not mess around with things and then just jump right into the deal.
You
gonna
can
cuss.
swear on this show. It's okay.
I was just gonna say pussyfoot around, but
That is also okay. All right. So we already kind of talked about what Avalon is. So issue 6 is 24 pages.
yeah, all issues will be 24 pages. We 1 through 23 will be black, white, and blood, and then the last page will always have that kind of splash of color moment to signify the oh shit moment at the end of every comic.
Yeah.
And obviously, you're looking at some of his work there, Demetrius's work, and the blood, and how it really pops on page every single time. And yeah, he finds new ways of telling the story within the story.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. It's just like stumbling upon gold. It's like the paneling is not conventional. But it's just it's what makes this story, it's what drives this story.
Yeah.
Visually, there's nothing else like this. There really isn't. So it's amazing to me how the paneling itself, the black pages, most of the time the pages are black. And then of course, every single issue, the last page is color, which is nuts.
Yeah.
I mean it kind of snaps you out of that black and white. We get so sucked into this black and white, this noir feeling, and like you said, like a Frank Miller what was it, Sin City kind of vibe. And then that last page is like, oh, this is reality. This is where we live.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to me, that format, and every single issue is like that. So this was a weird moment at the end of issue.
Was
We're like,
this
oh god.
rule breaking thing you're talking about?
Yeah, between the black, white, and blood, and like the paneling. I mean, like I said, nothing is what I would consider wrong, but it's different. Nobody does this. You know, his art style is unique, and like the visual storytelling he tells with I really think the paneling is what's different. That's what I would put my finger on. Is really different, but it flows, it works. He has overlapping panels. Like I said, a lot of times there's just you guys will see. the more we see. It's just really
to kind
unique.
of even touch on it though too is like, again,
that was not meant as a negative. That was meant as, this is way different than anything else and you can get these days, and so it's unique, and I love it.
Yeah,
So.
no, I even with just the panel layouts, I'm never once like confused on what's going on with his art. It's funny because it's like a standard kind of page is like what, 8 panels, maybe 8.
Gosh, no, standard is like 5 or 6.
Okay, so even worse. So now I'm even turning into that.
1,
so,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 here.
So
1, 2,
sometimes
3,
he gives me something that's like 10 or maybe even
7,
11 panels, and you're like, on paper, you're like, that sounds crazy. But when you see the page, you're like, wow, the way he does it, it all works. It literally works the way it's supposed to, and it's crazy how he does it. And I'll tell you right now, I don't think I once on script had more than 10 or 11 panels on script, unless it's very, very, very specific on what we're showing. But he just comes up with these things when he's reading the script, and he's like, okay, I have an idea to kind of narrow in on this and all that stuff as well. And again, he just blows me out of the water every single time too when he comes up with these ideas.
Yes, absolutely, I'm with you. So I mean, like this I would say is like a more traditional paneling,
and that was issue 1 though too. You could see the growth.
Yeah, but you can see the difference.
Yeah
right.
Yeah.
So, and that's a great point too, because this is something I love about Avalon. Here is the first cover, and this is the first issue. And then as soon as you get past this issue is when Demetrius was like, hey, I want to try something new.
Yeah, it scared me.
And you were like, are you sure?
Yeah, I was like, no, please don't. No, because I'm a more consistent person, and when he had that idea, I was like nervous. I was like, I don't. Let me see what you got. I was just kind of entertaining it to make him feel better. I was like, let me see what you got, I guess. And then he sent it to me, and I loved it, obviously. You know what I mean? So it's just like, okay, this is it. This is beautiful. I like what you're doing, but this is it. We're not doing any more changes. I think this is literally your style. This is what you got. I mean, you do an amazing job with this, so we obviously are here. And obviously, he keeps getting better and better at the style that he kind of became and all that stuff too. But yeah, no, it was definitely a nerve-wracking kind of decision in the beginning. But once I saw it, I was just like, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference. Because this is good, Brandon, but this is art.
Oh, it's beautiful. No, and again, nothing to bash his issue 1 stuff.
Nothing to bash issue 1, because again, this is what we're used to.
Yeah, it's just different. And now we see his new
different
style, and it's just like, wow, it almost looks like 2 different artists. If I have to explain to people at events all the time too. When they get just the issue 1, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna let you know. I'm just like looking at this. It's the same artist. This is what you see on this one. This is what you're gonna see from now on. So I kind of just like let them know that this isn't it. So
like get issue 1 to read it, and then look, open issue 2. See the difference. It's the same dude.
2 up there.
Yeah. It's just now I locked him in the basement.
Yeah,
and now he's
really working and grinding.
Oh my goodness. Lou says Dawn of the Dead remake hit the ground running. Literally, it was very intense from the start. Yeah. Grey Wolf will do some shout outs. Doing my Renfield trilogy, black and white, using red for I did it in Renfield book 1, Malcolm. So great minds think alike. And I almost did this too. Brandon and I are similar in our creativity, I think. So a lot of times we have the same ideas at the same time, but I did not do the black, white, and blood, and Brandon did. He followed through with it. Here's a link if you want to see Grey Wolf's book. There it is. Hello, Christopher Brown. Good morning.
Hello.
This is inspiring because I don't know the rules either. Maybe I should actually create a comic. Absolutely, you can. Absolutely, you can. There's no reason not to.
Possible. It's all possible. Just as long as you love it and like true love, I think it's can't help but make a good project.
Yeah, I agree. So this was issue 1.
Yep.
So you can see everybody. Here's issue 2. So here's where we evolved to the new style. It's called, and I love how you give every issue a name. I do that as well. I usually don't tell people what the name is, but it's on the script.
Yeah, I always thought that was weird that they don't do it. I always like that with TV shows or whatever too. I think it's or like chapter names, like in regular books too. It's just it's a chapter, So I like the idea. I like the idea of that. So now you specifically see, I mean, you obviously see it on here as well, the blind side and all that stuff too. But the titles are always kind of like, it's almost like the cover, the cover kind of hints at what the interior is going to look like. It's almost like a second idea of like what you're going to be getting at too. And that was almost a literal thing.
And it is a production thing, because again, if you're watching like a Netflix series, all the episodes have names.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Oh, congrats, Grey Wolf. You just checked and sold 1 copy of each of the 3 books. Very cool.
Congratulations.
Hey, happy birthday, man. 29. Way to go. We'll have a drink for you. Absolutely.
I can't now, but I will later.
Yeah, later. All right. So again, here is issue 2. So devastating.
A lot happens. Yeah, no, this is a beautifully done double page spread that Demetrius, had an idea. Actually, so like we wanted it to be a double page spread to kind of signify like the riot and just the chaos on the street that happens in obviously minutes, without spoiling too much. And it's just like you're really taking everything in, and with the small panels, actually that was his idea too, and really narrowing down on like the chaos instead of, because it was supposed to be just like a wide open like look at the chaos, but he really wanted to be specific on some of the panels and what is actually going on in these kind of things, which was kind of a cool touch to it. And obviously we decided to roll with it because it's here, but yeah.
It's like, it's one of those pages where you really have to let it soak in. You have to let your eye wander around the page to see all the different things that are being told. And there's not a word on the page. There's no dialogue, but you're getting all this information. It's incredible.
And a lot of Easter eggs too. There's a lot of Easter eggs on this page. I'm not telling you where or what, but
oh, I'm gonna have to go pull out my issue and go look.
I thought you told me already. Did you?
Did I?
I don't remember. No, I'm just gonna say.
It's been a while. It's been a while since I read issue 2, so I need to get. That's the thing, is I usually, what I'll do is when I get the new one, I'll pull out all the previous ones and start at the beginning and just start reading through to kind of remember.
Yeah. No, I get that. That's kind of what I do too. Especially when it's easier to do that when there's not that many issues out though too. So it's just like once I'll speak for you. Like once you start getting like 20 or something, I'm not starting from the beginning.
Do it, Brandon. When I get to issue 20, I expect you to do your homework. Start at the beginning.
No, for you, I would, Laurie.
Okay, thank you.
I can't say the same for everybody else. And that's not against them. It's almost like even like again, The Walking Dead. Like I'm not going to do that from the start from The Walking Dead. Like,
that's a good point. Yeah.
It's just a lot. There's just a lot to do. It's just like rewatching a show all the time. It's hard.
Yeah, George. That's why I like graphic novels or trades. Absolutely.
Same. It's easy. It's easy to
just all together.
Right. Read it right there and be done with it. You don't have to search, look, and all that. But
yeah. George has 2 trades, by the way. I'm jealous. Someday we'll be there.
You got one too.
I do. It's great. You're going to be there too, though. I mean, like, well, I did mine after 4 because it makes sense for me to do 4, 4, and 4. But yours is 6, so it makes sense for you to do it after you get all 6 done.
Yeah.
And then I could do a hardcover for you. So excited!
Yes,
send
we
me,
were talking a little bit
send
about
me
it.
2. Send me 2 of them, and I'll bind it for you and send it back. Absolutely. So
Sounds
excited.
good to me.
Heck yeah, man! All right, issue 3. This page, everybody. This is kind of like, this is your in. If you weren't in by now, you're in on this page. This is what I'm talking about. All right. I mean, like, how does the paneling even work on this? That's what I'm like. Okay, so we have Andy and Miller in the front on the top left corner, and then we have a panel to the right. So that's 2. And then the smaller panel, 3, is at the mob. And then we have the 2 guys, and then we have the blood, and then we have the car. So that's kind of how I read that page.
Yeah, and that's literally the layout though too. And it's funny because this might even be one of the specific pages that when we get the trade paperback out, that we show the script of this page.
Yes.
And then what you get, kind of thing. So that's going to be a lot of the bonus material that we do next year with the trade paperback too. Pick some unique kind of pages that, again, go off script. This isn't something that I didn't say like, okay, use the blood as a panel. Now I can do that because now I know that that's a thing and that he's capable of doing it. Now that's what makes it season 2 and so on so special, though, is now what I know what he's capable of. We could add those same elements. And again, he still might even blow my mind next season too. So it's just like,
well, absolutely. He's just gonna keep leveling up. He'll be like, "Look what I can do," and be like, "Ah."
Like, okay, stop it. You can't leave. As long you can keep doing this as long as you don't leave me.
Right. We're gonna lock you in the basement.
Yeah, I really won't.
Well, he's international, so good luck.
Yeah, I'll find a way
to go fly to another country and collect Demetrius. And we talked about this on your launch party, is all these amazing covers that Demetrius does. And he puts so much. And this is the one that I picked as my favorite, just because the imagery, what he's showing in the blood, where Andy's by himself and he's facing the other way, and like the rest of the family is together. The dad is big, the blood splattered flowers, and then is that a raven or a crow? It's almost like dark tidings, dark wings. Gosh,
it a lot of this one too is when Demetrius was talking to me about this this cover a lot. He was thinking about a lot of the stuff of the issues. Really, kind of obviously, this has a lot to do with what you're about to see in the interior, and a lot of symbolism on this page alone. And you see the page, you see the blood, you see the crow, you see certain aspects. I don't want to point out too many things, but certain aspects of what's going on in this cover that kind of indicate what's going to come. And then when you see it and read it, you're like, oh shit, that's what that means. So we were basically telling you what's coming up, especially with this is probably honestly one of my favorite titles too so far. It's a lengthy one, but it's just like we really mean it when we title this issue here too, is like it's Breathe, it's only going to get worse. So it's just there's nothing going to it as well. I was actually thinking about just naming this issue Breathe, just because it seemed a little too lengthy. But then, like, as I kind of kept saying, I was like, no, it has to be what it is.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to get worse. So again, some interiors. I love the fisheye. I love the use of any kind of fisheye, but it has to be done right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things too, second that in a different category though too, is the black silhouette of both Cliff and Ty. Obviously, we use that in issue 1 as well with Andy and Miller, but we do it so it's like, okay, we're telling it in a sense where it's like, okay, we're going back to that same kind of look. Is it going to be the same result kind of thing though too? So you're knocking on the door, you're trying to see what's going on. Now you see the silhouette of them, 2 different characters, but is it a similar situation or is it different or what? So
it's way different.
I'm a big fan of doing stuff like that, as well as almost reusing stuff and telling it in a different way as well. So not copping out. It's just like, okay, since I'm a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino, he does that a lot. You know what I mean though too?
Yeah.
So I take that as a lot of inspiration of what I do too. Is just like, you're seeing something earlier, now you're seeing it again, but is it going to be the same or different?
You're playing with your readers. Let's be honest, because what you're really saying is it's the same situation, but so me as a reader, I'm like, oh, I'm expecting the end of issue 1 as they go into this house. I'm like, oh, we're in the same but it plays out differently. And you're like, haha, I tricked you. And I'm just like, son of a bitch,
exactly.
Brandon. Now I don't know what to think. You know what I mean?
And I think that's definitely it. And that's definitely going to be happening more so. That's not something that's going away. I enjoy a story that does that. I enjoy other people who do that with their projects as well. So it's just going to be in Avalon a lot.
I'm okay with this. Now, this cover was, I think, a lot of people's favorites.
Yeah,
just because it's just so beautiful visually. And like I remember when he was working on this, you released it at pencils, at inks, and then at color. And it was just amazing to watch Demetrius work on this one, because it's so beautiful. And just, and there's so many things going, again, you can look at it like there's the pills, there's the police badge and the gun and all the pictures and the letters and happy birthday notes. The bullets and the pills intertwined, like that was, I thought I liked that a lot.
there's a lot that goes with it though too. And when you start to understand our covers, and you start to understand us as just creators and what we're doing, you're going to start being able to put together some of the puzzles. Now, don't get too confident with it though too, because never mind.
Because you lie. You're like, look over here, everybody. Nope.
Yeah, there will be times where you'll be able to put it together, but that's all part of the breadcrumb trail.
Right. But that's some of the fun as a creator. I do that as well, where I'm like, you may think, but it's not. It's something else. Yeah. Again, more. Oh, Miller. Miller. We loved you. Gone too soon.
We should do like what are those called? Like a memorial kind of.
Yeah.
But but then if we do it, then it's spoiling stuff. But people seeing it anyways, it's not really a spoiler because
it happens like almost immediately in the story. So
it was part of just the story itself to show the readers how different our infection is going to be, and just watching the progression. And I think that was just a unique telling of just, okay, so one of the main characters in the beginning of the story that we show to be a main character, okay, he's bit, now what happens? What's going on? It's telling that story too. So I thought that was kind of a cool way of telling a story within this universe that I feel like hasn't been, I don't know, I haven't seen much of it. I'm sure there's some aspects that do it, but not so like we really focus on this relationship and watching, that kind of unfold. It's kind of cool just watching it visually, even for myself, like having Demetrius do it and just reading it through the story and just being a fan of the genre. I always kind of enjoy that little arc there between the two.
Yeah. I think that's a thing. And I enjoy it where it's like, oh, we got someone who's bit. Let's watch. Like, how does it play out? What does it do? How fast does it go? What's the telltale signs? I think that's definitely a zombie genre thing. Like, ooh, let's watch it progress. And you did not disappoint. This is gnarly.
He killed that, and kind of showcasing the immediate transition. Obviously we've seen some aspects of it, but really watching it unfold here with the main character too, and obviously it's a really huge moment and a crucial moment in the comic at this point as well. So for obviously Andy, but and what else he has to kind of see and kind of gather, it's a huge turning point in trying to figure out what's going on now and kind of dealing with it all.
Yeah, this was a big moment. And it's like this is one of the benefits that I have being your friend, is like I get to see the issues sometimes as they're, coming out and in progress. And Brandon was revealing like some pages, and we all knew this was coming. And so when we finally got to this page, it was like, even though we knew it was coming, it was still very emotional to see it go down. So, man, Miller, we love you. And here we are to issue 6. This cover.
Yeah, no, that again, like it just finds like the green though too is like just like how do you make this work? How are you doing that? And then the city outline and the blood too. It's just like I don't know. I mean, he just kills it every time.
Wolf, hound, undead, which is disturbing because it makes me think that now animals can be infected with this, and I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's something too. And again, knowing us, knowing how Demetrius kind of even does his covers, knowing how we are just as creators, is this a literal thing, or is this just a symbolic thing? Is this something kind of foreshadowing what's to come, or like what?
Right? Is this the Raven from the last cover? Right? Or is it something literal, where it's like, oh, this dog is going to show up?
So again, it's never going to be so simple too, because there are times, again, like you said, with the Raven or the Crow on the earlier cover too, is that literal, or is it both? You know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot that kind of takes in every time you see something that we kind of put out there for everybody. But yeah.
All right. So in this issue, can you kind of like recap 1 through 5 and tell us what we're going to get in 6?
Yeah. So the characters that are still alive.
I spit out my coffee.
The characters that are still alive, we're kind of obviously refuged at the Cliff and Elise house, and everybody that we've known and all that stuff too, that we're at this point, they're trying to figure out their next move. Some other incidents happen to other characters that we're going to have to figure out what the next move is for that specific character. With that being said too, with it being eerie weather, we kind of teased it a little bit that the weather's going to start getting worse. Blizzard's coming in. So, power is going to be trickling in and out. Is this a safe place to stay in Cliff and Elise's house? Or do they have to figure out their next move and find a new destination? So a lot of chaos, a lot of like time sensitive issues are avert these characters. So it's really trying to, again, they can't get a second to sit. And every time they feel like they do, more stuff is happening. So it's just really wrapping up what happened to all these characters, what's gonna, what it's gonna happen to another character, and what their next move is as a group, what's gonna happen. So there's a lot to kind of wrap up here and get everybody excited for season 2.
Would you say the group dynamic will change?
Yes. And that's going to change just naturally. It's hard to say without spoiling much though too, but it's
yeah. Just tell us. Did something major happen? Something major. I mean, it's issue 6, right? I'm assuming that you're just
finale.
gonna.
Yeah, it's a finale.
Yeah, that you're gonna floor us with something. God damn it!
Development stuff,
you better not kill my favorite character. Is all I have to say.
I don't know who that is.
I'm not gonna say.
Can you put it in the chat? Now I'm curious to see who it is.
I'm not gonna say. I will have to read and find it. Don't spoil it. But this is cool. Ooh, thinking stage. This looks unhappy.
Yeah.
Whew.
And just remember, there's a lot that's going on with these characters, development-wise. Some of these characters, and man, we always talk about medications. We talk about mental health. We talk about physical health. So just keep it all in mind when we're telling these stories, though, too. And when we get through this issue, there'll be some things to talk about, and we're going to be talking about it and kind of briefing people on why and all that stuff, too. So in future shows, when we kind of discuss this issue and further, there's going to be some explaining to do here, and so it's just, with that being said though to it, just keep it all in mind.
Excuse me, some explaining to do. I have to send you a mug? You drink the tears of your readers, Brandon,
or make it like a stretch goal for us.
A stretch goal? Oh, where you can get out your own mug that says I drink the tears of my readers.
That's gonna be too much. That's a lot.
That's expensive. Hundreds of mugs going out. Yeah, I have a feeling it's not going to be good, guys, when we get to the end of this issue. I feel like we're going to be going for, we might riot. Brandon, you will be hearing from us. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. And I'm excited to kind of see it and all finished up in Demetrius's kind of style too. I'm really excited to see the script and unfold.
Here's beautiful Demetrius against like to see artists are always so good at having these headshots. I don't know. They're always photogenic. I feel like it's not fair. Brandon, you and I take pictures like this.
Yep.
And then there's Demetrius.
Yep.
All of Marco's pictures were like this. And I'm like, this is not fair.
It's annoying. It's annoying.
I'm just going to put 8,000 filters on mine. Here's Alan, the imaginary friend.
As you can tell, there's like a little bit of like a mask lip up underneath his jawline.
There could be. I really think that this is like a comic book store owner and that you just pay him money. Like, here's a $5. Take a picture with this book. You are now Alan. But we've never actually had Alan on any of the shows we've been on. So I'm just saying.
He's busy.
Hey, the best editor ever, Rachel Blalock, who is my editor as well. She does great work. If you all need an editor, Rachel's your gal. She does. She makes a big difference in what comes out.
She does an awesome job. We're glad that she is a part of our team too. So, and I think originally you kind of steered us in that direction first. And obviously she wanted to do it. That's why she's here. But yeah, she helps out a lot. She keeps us all in check.
I think it was more like in the group chat, you guys were like, "Who's your editor?" And I'm like, I have an editor. They're like, you haven't, and like Sam and Trey were like, we don't have an editor. And I was like, do you have an editor, Brandon? You're like, I have it. And I was like, you all need Rachel. Like, you need more Rachel in your life. Like,
we definitely do.
Help you.
We're glad to have her. We're definitely glad to have her.
She asks so many good questions when she reads the story, and she's just like, hey, have you thought about this? Or she catches just the minute things. I don't know how many times Jude St. Clair's stupid bracelet was missing, and we had to go put them all back in.
I know there's so many things too, and I look, I'm like, damn it.
I know, like, how did we miss that? But you're so into the story, you're so into the creation, and like for us, it's like, okay, does this work for plot? And then I let her. I'm like, is there enough room to let her? Yeah. And she just catches all the little stuff, like this would make more sense here, or did you check this, or can we, like me, and you misspell something or you miss a comma, and you're like, oh, how did I miss that? But
and you're looking at so many other things. You're looking at it as a whole, though, too.
Yeah.
As a story, as art, as lettering, as some of the fine details. But she's at least has to look at it. It's just through a different lens, and just she's thinking different things than you are, and you also are managing just social media, other stuff like that too. So it's such a bigger thing. And then having her being able to just focus on like the exact thing she's focusing on, it definitely helps. It's definitely been a plus to the team here.
Absolutely. So if y'all need Rachel's information, you let me know. Who is William Dalton?
He's
oh, that's right. He's the new Alan.
Yeah, basically. So he's part of season 2 and so on as well.
Ooh.
And he did some of the. So what's actually funny with the situation, I'll breeze over this though too, is originally, so it always was Alan was supposed to always help through just the first season and kind of and then kind of shift his role to just 1282 as the whole production like we're doing.
Yeah.
So that was always Alan's role, but then we kind of flirted with the idea and saying, okay, you do the first season. What if we get a new extra writer every season to kind of have like obviously I'll always be there, but have just a subtle different touch each season. And that was kind of like a thought. And then we're like, okay, whatever. And it kind of, so Bill's here as long as he wants to be here. I'm not going to be like, okay, you're not here for season 3. So, and say he just is here for season 2, then it is a thing, I guess. But right now he's season 2 and so on. He's going to be here as long as he wants to be here. You know what I mean? But it would be
cool.
A kind of cool thing though too. He's a friend of mine as well, and huge creative person. He loves the same stuff that we all love, and brings a cool kind of outlook on the story of the characters and all that stuff. But
so a question. So when you're writing, you kind of like plan it, and then how does Alan and Bill contribute? Like, do they write certain characters? Or are they just doing overall arc? Are they doing specific issues? Like, to me, 3 people writing an arc, I don't know how you do it.
Well, 2 now, just 2. Like I said,
it's you and Bill.
Yeah, Alan is in the 12.
Alan is gone back to the recesses of your mind.
Yes. So I took
come out later.
So Bill is he's helping with. He's just basically we're doing it together. I have this general outline. I have this general understanding of how I see this story. Like this I see the characters this way. There's some characters or some arcs or some things that I'm very adamant about. And then there's some when we're writing it, I'm like, okay, that's a cool idea. I like that. We're kind of going through it together and just kind of bouncing ideas off each other. I always found that very, very fun. And I'm not going to say, I guess easier. I'm not saying it's easy, but easier to do that. And they just kind of bounce ideas off each other as we're kind of writing it as well. Because like I said, we'll do the whole arc. We'll say like, okay, this issue's about this is about this is about that. Now, when we're doing the dialogue, it's easy to kind of bounce ideas off each other. And then what we do after each issue is we almost do like a table read and go in like, okay, we kind of go over these characters to make sure the dialogue sounds fluent and something that somebody would really say. That's one thing that we try to pride ourselves in, at least now, you know what I mean? Is really having the dialogue sound like conversation rather than you reading something. So some of it actually
okay, I'm with you on that, because when you read a novel and they use like big words and like really intricate description, and then in a comic book, that just doesn't work.
No,
you know what I mean? That guy would be like, "Fuck you," you know what I mean? Instead of like, "Please whatever," with your a polite way of saying, if they're angry, they're just gonna they're being real. So I'm with you on that. I try to do that too, but.
And that's what it is. And it's just kind of, and again, the table read, I feel like I just call it a table read, I guess. But yeah, it definitely helps because you're going back and forth, almost acting it out and make sure the dialogue sounds like it would in real life, like how normal people would talk.
Okay, that's the end of your story. Okay, let us move on.
Yes.
I thought there was going to be more. All right, I'm going to go shopping. Now, I've already gone shopping, and I already picked out my reward because obviously everybody knows that I'm a fan. But let's show off some of these cool things for everybody else who is watching so they can pick out what they would like. So, of course, PDF starts at $5. So that's a PDF for issue number 6. If you've been following along, you just need the newest one. A lot of times this is great for international backers where you can just download. You don't have to wait for shipping or pay $45 plus customs and et cetera, et cetera. So it's a great option. $5. Read it on your phone, read it on your tablet, anywhere you go in the dark. Ooh, especially in the dark. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Because it adds that mood, it adds that element.
Yeah, read it in the dark.
Again, that's the thing that we're trying to bring with Avalon too, is that you're gonna be afraid of the dark, so read it in the dark. Feel the mood, feel what the characters are feeling. Damn it.
Yeah, damn it. I like it. I think that would be a good Halloween thing too, to read it in the dark. $10 gets you physical copy of cover A, which is the main cover. This gorgeous cover. Get your hands on the Avalon Experience. Does this come with? Yes. Okay, so that's a great price, Brandon. So he did issue. It's the physical issue and the PDF for $10. That's a steal. I usually increase it when I add the PDF on top of it. But this I love. I love tiers like this because you can, like me, binge read it first on digital when it releases. So you know all the twists and turns, and you want the things you've been waiting to find out, you get to find them out. And then when the physical comes, you read it again, and you get that physical experience of turning the pages, you smell the comic.
Yep.
I catch all the Easter eggs when I'm going through the second read. And so those are usually the tiers that I'm getting where I get both digital and physical.
I agree. It's always kind of have it immediately so you can kind of read it and get into it already, like you said. And then, and obviously with the physical, reading it in the physical form too is always a better experience, I think, but because you could feel, really see and all that stuff too. It's just, I don't know, it just looks better and feels better when it's in your hands. But
I think so too. It's that whole experience where it's your 5 senses are engaged. You hear the pages turning, you get to feel the smell the book, see the art in its glossy pages. You get to please just don't eat the book. Don't include taste.
I've licked a couple books.
That's gross. Please don't do that. Especially if they're my books. Don't do that. Don't do that to my books.
Those are the only ones. But so for the $15 one there that you see is the cover B. That's the one that
the yellow one.
Yeah, it's actually it's a very interesting choice, and I think it works. I remember when I got it, thinking about it. If you would have told me ahead of time, I'm like, I don't know how that works. I don't know how that's gonna look. But like when he sent it, it's just like I don't know why. I liked it. There was no question. There was no like, oh, I don't like the yellow. You know what I mean? But I feel like if you simply would have been like, okay, I did this before he sent it to me, I would have been like, no, I don't like the yellow. But like seeing it immediately, I feel like it just sat
what did you learn? Shut up and trust the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Let Demetrius do his thing.
Yes.
Have judgment afterwards. But
right, and I think it just worked.
You dropped this one, and we were all like, "Oh man," because I got the $20 one. I got the foil. That's the one. This is the foil issue because I love shiny things. But then you dropped this, and I was just like, God, I need both. So I'm hoping that you have this as a print as well because I want it because it's gorgeous.
What? Oh, the
yellow.
Yeah, sure.
What do you call that? A shawl? A death cowl? What do you call that?
What?
A sheet?
Oh yeah.
More specific name.
It's a bed sheet. Yeah.
No. They were gonna call it a death.
Well, we don't know if it's death yet.
I don't know, but I mean, like they got no nose and their eyes are sunken in. I'm assuming. I am assuming
they might be just.
They got no nose, Brandon. There's a hole.
They might be wearing a mask. We don't know.
Okay. I feel like that would be very Bill Murray in Zombieland, like a great way to get shot.
Yeah.
Like, let's not dress up in ghoul masks during the zombie apocalypse unless you have a death wish.
That is true.
soil, blah blah, foil cover. I was trying to say foil cover, and it came out as soil. Foil cover. This is your first time doing a foil?
This is the first time doing a foil, and I think it's perfect timing for it. With it being the finale, I think it's kind of a cool thing, and getting in touch with the printing company and seeing what they're capable of doing. I'm very interested to kind of see it, sent in their kind of category and see it in person as well. But I'm excited for the gold foil cover. I really am. It's definitely going to be a cool thing to finally have one done.
Is it a virgin cover? Is that what they call it? A naked cover? What do you call the thing? Is there a title on it? Is it dressed?
We got to figure out what they're able to do. I'm still okay. There's going to be foil on it. There's going to be gold foil on it.
There will be shiny things, and that's what I signed up for.
There will be a shiny.
I don't know. Thing. Just give me the shiny. I feel like my inner raccoon needs it to be happy. Ketchup bundle. It's always good to have one of these. Hey, PDF ketchup bundle. This, and I've said this before, but I'm always jealous of people that are introduced to a new series right when it's like it's completed, because they just get to binge read the entire thing, and I'm like, man, to have that experience again where you get to start from the beginning and all the the excitement and the twists, to be able to just read it all at once.
I mean, I think I agree with that, but I also think for most people, it's probably the best time to kind of invest in Avalon right now. You're getting the end of the season. You're getting all in kind of one. You're really going to be able to tell what Avalon's about. You know what I mean? There's no, if you read all 6 issues and you're like, then it's definitely probably not for you. I mean, so,
come on, let's give you.
So this is the perfect time to kind of invest in something invest in something new to see if you're into it. And I think, and just like I tell people all the time, if you're at least a little bit into zombies,
you'll like this.
You'll like it. I mean, we both, myself, all the writers, Demetrius, we all love horror. We all love zombies. So we're putting passion into this thing as well. It's not something that you're just going to be, this isn't a money maker. Zombies are. So what I'm trying to say is so a lot of people don't care too much anymore. They think it's oversaturated, all that stuff as well. So it's passion that's being put into this. So
I think it's slowed down though. I don't think people are producing as much zombie material as it used to. I'm starting to see Westerns come back, Brandon.
Slowly coming back. I agree. I think we're due
superheroes. I don't know what's the new trend. I right now we're seeing so many reboots and sequels and remakes where it's not really anything new coming out.
I feel like we're in that kind of phase right now too. I feel like we've been in that phase for a little bit. And I don't. My argument though too is it's not so much. I guess back to the zombies comment though too is I don't think people are really oversaturated by it. I think they're just sick of bad projects. And zombie genre, it can be one of those things. And being a zombie fan myself, I could fully agree that there's a lot of bad zombie things out there, and I think that's what people are misconstrued in with their feelings and what they're feeling about it. It's not that there's too much of it. There's too many other. I mean, there's too many superhero movies. You're not oversaturated by superhero movies.
No, people are feeling that way about.
Well, now they are
a lot. It's specifically Marvel, where it's like we came down off of Endgame, and now nothing really gives us that high again. Because we were so emotionally invested in those characters, and their arcs are kind of over. And now it's like, I don't really care about these new people yet.
That's what I meant though too. Is like that's an example of oversaturation. Now with I think with zombies, it's not. There isn't many projects out there. I think a little bit with AMC and The Walking Dead. There's like 15 different things going on, but without that, I think
I stopped watching. Man, after I finally made it all the way through Walking Dead, the last season. When they were like Daryl Dixon, and then
I watch those shows. But
Book of Carol. I'm like, what are we doing here?
There's a lot, but I think it's more so just bad projects. I don't think it's too many of them. I think it's just too many bad ones. And if there are better ones, if there are better ones out there, I think it would definitely still be a thing. I mean, it's just there hasn't been a lot of things that have really been hitting that zombie kind of feel when you're reading it. It's just. Again, with The Walking Dead itself, I think is being oversaturated. Like not the zombie genre. It's just okay. We get The Walking Dead. I love it. Let it be what it was. Don't try to make it a huge deal. Sometimes you just have to be like, okay, beginning, middle, and it's done.
And we've talked about this too, where it's like when a series has a beginning, a middle, and an end, the end is more fulfilling because that was how it was intended to be closed up. There's always that emotional tie-in. There's that fan payoff. It's like how I always compare is like Breaking Bad versus Lost. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Or Dexter, where it's like they didn't know they were ending. The network was just like, hey, you got, 2 more episodes and then you got to be done. You got to be out of here. It's like, how do you wrap up all of that, on such short, in such short notice when you don't know how you're ending? That to me is just crap.
It sucks, it's a shitty thing to kind of be put into it when you got 4, 5, 6 seasons of something and you're like, okay, wrap it up. You got 6 episodes and we're even cutting your episodes down in a season,
right.
So just like you get the Game of Thrones effect. I've never watched it. But it's great up until this season. But that's what they rushed it just to kind of get it out there. You know what I mean? Like, and so just beginning, middle, end. Get out before it's too late. Like Breaking Bad was one of those too, where it just got out before it was long lived. And it always has. Everybody will always look at that and go, "That was an amazing show."
That was an amazing show, and they ended it when, like you said, when it was supposed to end.
Yes.
And when you watched that ending, you had such a positive reaction to that ending. Sopranos is another one where they were just like, they just ended it, and like, what the fuck is this? What are we supposed to do with this? We're just left hanging. So I really feel like, in order to get that kind of feeling these days, you have to come to indie comics.
Agreed. That's I've heard that from a lot of different people, and yourself included. And I think it's a true statement. I think it's, again, where real passion is. I think it's real understanding of what they want. I mean, obviously, you're going to have to decipher from what's what and who's bringing what kind of energy, and if it's something you like. But if it is something that you like a little bit, like at least you're getting some sort of passion out of it. I mean, like I could speak for both of us here. You're getting passion out of our projects. This isn't something that we're like, okay, I have this idea and I'm just doing it. You know what I mean? Like
we don't make any money doing this. Let's be honest.
No. It's just enough to get it out there. And I've said to people numerous times, Avalon is always going to come out. It's like I said, it's a baby of mine. It's it's always going to be out there. Everybody else dictates the speed. When we do the Kickstarters and people support us and like and share and pledge for some rewards, you dictate the speed of what Avalon, is Avalon's pace is. It's always going to come out until it's done, until we finish it. But everybody else dictates the speed, and that's what the importance is of the support and the love and the likes and the shares and, kind of getting it out there from everybody else as well. But yeah.
So, like we were saying, if you are interested in zombie genre and a lot of those other media that we talked about in the beginning, we'll talk about that. Levi, give us a second here. I want to show you guys this $40 tier, because if you like the physical copies, this is insane. He's giving you 6 comic books for $40. You're nuts, Brandon.
I'm a psychopath, and you know that by now.
I know you're a psychopath. I'm just like, man, you are so underpricing. I don't know. And I know Brandon is all about like, but I want people to read it. I want it to be affordable because my goal isn't to make money. My goal is to get the story out there. And that's what he's doing. So this is amazing to me that you price these this way, because this is a steal, you guys. So all 6 issues, main covers 1 through 6, $40. That's nuts. I'm going to go through some of these tiers real quick here.
Yeah, do your thing.
$65, you get all the PDFs, and then you get variant copies, including a foil. You're nuts.
I'm
See what I mean? See what I mean? Supply crate. This is, issues 6A, 6B, issue 6G, Miss Martin poster, standard cover print, sticker bundles, and issues, PDFs 1 through 6. That's just nuts. That's just nuts. I don't know why never mind.
So with the 130 that I want to kind of the
130.
Those things that you see down there, I want to just kind of put in there as well. You're getting that along with the supply crate. So it's not just those items.
Okay.
Supply crate with it. Obviously I didn't want to put all that stuff on a print there though too, but you're getting all that stuff.
So this is the last one, isn't it? It's the last man standing. This is the original sketch.
Which in a second here, I'm just going to keep it for myself.
I know. I have that feeling sometimes too. It's like, I really want someone to have it, but I also want it for myself.
I know, Demetrius. I already told Demetrius he's got to make me something specific. I need something.
But now this is different for Demetrius, right? Because he normally works digitally.
Yeah. So he said he was telling. I think the last time when we did the launch show when he was on, he was saying that it was definitely a different experience because it's been a long time since he did pencil and paper.
Yeah.
And because he converted all to digital art and all that stuff too, and doing all that. So he had to almost like relearn it, but with that style. So it was just like it was a unique thing for him to kind of do, and it still came out amazing. And even seeing it in person though too, and Trey was adamant about this though too, because he was able to see it in person when I went to Boston. He's just like, the way it looks, it does, the photo doesn't really do it justice, and I would agree with that as well. Like looking at it all the time too, the line work and all that stuff, and what he was capable of doing, and just pencil to paper, it's just amazing to kind of see that process.
And now these next two for 155, these are unique. There's only one of each of these.
Very, yes. So we're going to be doing a real life badge, custom badge for Andy and Miller. Gosh. And then on flip sides as well, Andy and Miller will have identification cards with it. Obviously their picture will be in that little box. But it'll be a real identification card as well. And obviously, do not flash this and use this for beneficiary issues there. But
you'll get in trouble.
Those would be kind of cool things to have. And again, this is one of those deals where I want one for myself. I think that
you should cosplay. You should cosplay as Andy.
Yeah, I think
you could pull it off.
I'm gonna do the dad. Well, no, I'm losing more hair.
You gotta do daddy. Show us your mustache, Brandon.
It's not there today. I shaved it up a little bit. I have to grow it in.
Yeah.
It's a pathetic, I wouldn't even call it a mustache. Just whiskers.
All right, everybody. We got add-ons, of course. We got signatures, add-on. And this is what's really nice. I love that Kickstarter gives you this option just to go back through some of the things maybe you missed out on that you can add on to customize your own reward. I think I have all of these, of course, but I have some of the variants. I have the Andy poster. I have all the Christmas stuff. I got the Christmas card too, which was super cool.
Yeah, that was a cool thing.
Yeah, Christmas card from the Castle family was super cool. You know me. That's where I live too, where I send out like postcards to people from Dwayne Fink if they solve some of the riddles. Yeah.
It's a fun thing. It's a nice, unique deal to it as well. But
and of course the Avalon shirts, which are beautiful. They are beautiful. We've unlocked some stretch goals. We have 3 stickers for physical backers. Yes.
And we're almost there with the buttons. I don't know how much, but we're almost there. We're in the 1700s right now.
What is it? 1755? You're close.
Oh, almost.
We need like 30 more bucks. Less than 30 bucks, people. Less than 30 bucks. I'm sorry. I must scroll fast. Wait, I can do this. Hey. I always forget about those buttons.
Added, yeah.
Hey, yeah. And everybody will get the zombie PDF bundle, which we've been doing this since we started. And I think it's been a lot of fun. I love getting Avalon and Ray's out there. And look at everybody. Ray's has a new cover.
Yep.
Beautiful,
new
right?
Ray's you're going to be experiencing. And
this is interesting to me because you and I both have our like issue 1 cover. It's been the same since the beginning. And then there's a new Ray's. And I'm like, man, it makes us look bad.
Yeah, stop it.
Stop it now. Of course, contact information. No AI and printing in America, all super important for everybody. So there you have it, everybody. That is the campaign. Beautiful, beautiful Demetrius. No. Take a closer look. Oh, man. I missed it. Yeah, like, wait, got. Brandon is looking at you, everyone.
Everyone.
All right. So Levi has another question, which is any plans for a Fund My Comic campaign? And you and I kind of talked about this.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them what we talked about?
Sure. I will take it away. Even though I was lining you up for the answer. A lot of times as creators, we will put a goal on our Kickstarter for things that we need, but it doesn't always check all the boxes for what we want to do. So we'll run something that's called a second chance campaign. And Brandon and I were talking about this. He was like, if I were to run one, what would you suggest? Where's something else I can run? So we talked about all the other platforms, and people in the chat chime in what you think about some of these other platforms, because there's Indiegogo, there's BackerKit, there's Zoop, there's Fund My Comic. Where do you recommend Brandon would go for a second chance campaign? I have my thoughts.
Because we obviously are willing to do that as well. This will be the first time that we do something like that. We're very interested in doing that as well, and wherever people would want to see us the most, we'll obviously do that. We're not gonna go against that grain there too, because it'll be new to us anyways, because we've been doing Kickstarter since the beginning. So all the other kind of exterior kind of fun comic funding kind of platforms are going to be new to us anyway. So wherever the most noise is and all that stuff is, we'll definitely kind of try it out and see what kind of we can get.
Levi, if you're still with us, tell us, why would you want to go to Fund My Comic? I mean, they all have their pros and cons. I think I did a second chance campaign on Indiegogo, and I wasn't that wowed with it. I mean, similar amount of work to set up the page.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that the organic find, where someone who's just on Indiegogo was like, I kind of like horror, I kind of like zombies, and they're just looking. I don't feel like anybody found my campaign unless I was sending them there with the link. Which I think Kickstarter really is the king of that, where it's like they can drop you into all these different categories. Just launched, project we love, just funded, based on your viewing history or based on your backing history. There's all these different ways for them to suggest your product to new eyes. And I've gotten backers that way, that's like, oh, this is new. Haven't seen this before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was actually a cool. I mean, I love the surveys though too. When we have to send the surveys out at the end of it as well, and asking where they found, Avalon in this case, too. I learned a lot from the last one when we sent that survey out for the last time. It was surprisingly Twitter or X,
really,
whatever you call it now too. Yeah, the last campaign
that makes me laugh, because I feel like whenever we do like a Twitter space with the zombie crew, I feel like it's always a shit show.
It's a shit show, and yeah, it definitely is. And I think it really was. And a lot of people, like I said, a lot of new people came in from Twitter. So I was just like, that was actually shocking and surprising to me, because like we have a base on Twitter. We kind of go back and forth with people as well. And when we kind of get into the share kind of what do you call this? Whatever, we kind of share our stuff out, Demetrius, myself, and that it just whatever.
Levi says, I don't like giving any of my money to companies who I don't agree with. And this is really key. I mean, like us as creators, you kind of have to pay attention to what the platform is doing. The other thing I like about Fund My Comic, is that they take less of a percentage than all the other platforms. And I think Kickstarter is right around 4.5 or 5. And then there's the credit card processing. But I think Fund My Comic has the lowest. I think they're closer to 3%. Correct me if I'm wrong, Levi. But I think that's one of the things, is not only do they only promote comics, they have their own podcast where they will help promote your project. So people are already there because they like comics, right? They're not there because they want to back a tabletop game or a security system or whatever.
Anything.
Anything.
Point, yeah.
I don't know. Skillets. I've seen all sorts of crazy things on there. So they're there. And then of course you get to keep more of your money, which is key. So I don't know. Are you considering Fund My Comic? Give them a try.
I'm like, again, I'm considering all kind of places out there, but wherever the most noise is kind of generating and people are actually, for it, just like kind of Levi was saying though too, is finding a place that is just like, will help out or agrees and people actually enjoy going towards as well. And I think Fund My Comic is one of those things, like you just said, as well, as you're just on there with other comics. You're not kind of fighting around with against other
biodegradable straws.
Just anything you can think of, I guess. This one's more specific to comics, so maybe, I don't know, we'll have to see, if there's other places that people recommend though too, we're all ears.
Yeah. I don't know about Zoop either. It's Zoop is interesting. I have to do more homework on it, but usually they only have about 20 campaigns at a time. So it's not like there's a ton of people. Like that's one of the things I like about like Kickstarter and from my comic is there's a huge group of people. So they might be there just to see what's new. But with Zoop, I feel like there's like it's 20 and that's it. So take it or leave it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But we do. It definitely is a plan to kind of do a second chance campaign too. So,
yeah.
I do want to do something like that too, and I think it could be fun too, and just be relevant.
What's the next step for you guys? So obviously, issue 6 kind of wraps up. What's on the horizon?
So after issue 6 here, the reason there's no trade paperback this time around is because we're going to be Demetrius is adamant about doing a remastered version of issue 1.
Yeah.
So he's going to do the remastered version of issue 1, and then that's going to be combined with the trade paperback next year. Obviously, given on what's going on and all that stuff too, maybe springtime is what we're looking at, and that's going to have obviously bonus material. It's going to have all 6 issues in there as well. We're going to have some of the concept character art, the first concept page that Demetrius sent us. So and just kind of going through kind of bonus material too is like, again, scripting compared to the page that we see, pencil inking to color stages as well. There's gonna be a lot to see with the trade paperback too. So that's our next goal. As soon as that is complete, then we're moving right along with season 2. And during that part or that time frame as well with getting that remastered out is we're really going to that's going to be a good time frame for me to kind of take a step back and go, how can we get Avalon out more on a consistent basis? Like, okay, if it's twice or 3 times a year, what are the months that people can always expect Avalon to kind of be out? So that's while we're doing the remastered, it'll give me time to actually start thinking and planning about that. So people can see, okay, Avalon, it's this month, it's just, for hell of it, I guess March is a month. Let's just say March is a month that Avalon comes out. So, okay, March is coming up. People can start understanding when Avalon's going to be coming out, and that's going to be a thing that I work on as well, and trying to figure out how it's possible to do that and all that stuff too. But
I only laugh because it's like best laid plans always I don't know. That's what happens for me every time. I'm like, I have good intentions. We go in, we have a plan set, and then it all crashes and burns. And I'm like, God damn it.
It's the same thing too. And now obviously, I have a lot of ideas that I want to fulfill, and they somehow just keep getting moved and pushed back. And that goes to with like a short film as well. And I want to do a short film with Bill, and we're working on something inside the Avalon universe, because that just allows us to actually focus on the script writing and the filming aspect, rather than, okay, now we got to create a world, now we got to create this thing, these certain characters. So all that stuff's taken care of. So we're going to be working on a short film that we're going to actually put into a film fest. So we have a local film fest that we're going to be putting that into as well. So that opens the door for a lot of that kind of stuff to kind of come out, and we're excited. We have a lot planned, a lot more Avalon to kind of come.
That's exciting. I'm excited. More Avalon, please. So you just went to Erie Comic-Con it was a 3-day con. Yikes.
Yeah.
Big one. Yeah.
So it the local Erie Con, it always does good for us. Seeing a bunch of returning people that have been with us for a long time now, seeing the new people as well, and it's always great to kind of see the locals, because they're always very supportive of Avalon, and they really want Avalon to kind of shine too, because we're from Erie. It actually takes place in Erie as well, so people find that very intriguing. So they're always supportive of us, and we always have a good time there. We always, it's always a great turnout, and we actually have our Erie Horror Fest coming up here in the next 2 weeks as well.
Okay,
which
cool.
is the film fest that I'm talking about as well. So that, again, same kind of energy. It's always fun to do that as well. And
where's the film fest? Not the horror fest. Where's the horror fest going to be?
It's same. It's the same thing. It's at the Warner Theater in Erie.
Oh, okay. So are you going to be set up with a table?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Well, they have vendors and all that stuff there too.
What are the dates?
Let me see. I think it's the
Can
4th
lead
and
a
the
horse
5th
to
of
water.
October.
tell us where you're gonna be, sir, so people can find you.
October 4th and 5th. It's just in Erie. Are you around Erie? If you're around Erie, then it's definitely a fun time.
You never know. There could be someone listening from Erie. They know I'm not from Erie, but let's promote your stuff, man, so the people can go see you.
Yeah. So we're in Erie. We're in Erie that week. It's the 4th and the 5th of October. It actually is a really fun event, though. Not, Avalon aside, they have a bunch of awesome showings they do. You can go for the 2 days. They have this time around, they have a clown, because the theme is like killer clowns.
Oh.
So they're doing a clown costume contest on Friday. If you hate clowns, probably not a good idea. But
oh my god,
it's
that's scary.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff that they're doing this time around as well. But I always enjoy going there too, because it's like a historic theater as well. The Warner Theater is a very cool place to be in Erie. But that's fun. And then we're going to Jamestown, New York. Look at that one too for one day. It is the 12th, October 12th. That's another horror fest. Yeah. So, well, that one's our last one. Fortunately, it's the last one. We've had a lot of events this year, and we've met a lot of great people and been to a lot of great places though too. And that'll be the final one in in the middle of October for this year. But yeah.
And you went to Boston this year?
Went to Boston this year. I got to see Sam and Trey in the flesh. And that was a fun time. I've never been to Boston in my life. I actually didn't mind Boston. Boston's Boston. I always like visiting big cities. I would rather not live in them. I thought for a short period of time that I would actually like to live in them when I was like 18, 19 years old. But that's when you have more energy and you're like, oh, this is awesome. But now I don't know what I would do. But yeah, it was nice to visit. I don't know if I'd live there though.
Yeah, I'm like you. I don't want to live in the city. I'll go visit.
Yeah, it's fun visit. It's a fun time to kind of go there and do things and get out of the norm. And but yeah, I wouldn't want to live there. There's a lot. For like 2 miles, 3 miles, it was like 20-30 minute drive.
That's not okay.
No,
it's like trying to wrap my brain. And that's funny because that's how it is in California too, where it's like, how far away is this place? But they don't tell you in miles, they tell you in time. Yeah, because it's like, well, it's 45 minutes. And you're like, it's 1.5 miles. And they're like, it's 45 minutes. Yeah.
And that's funny. It definitely is. It's definitely a crazy way of thinking too, because if I drove 20 minutes is like just under 20 miles where I'm at. Like, it's just not I could go to Northeast, which is like 30 minutes away, and it's not that far at all. And it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, I enjoyed having you on the show. I actually got to harass you a little bit, but not too much. I was nice. Don't you think I was nice?
You got to save that for the Karen
Killer
show.
Karen. Yeah, when you come on that one, you're going to have it, sir.
That too, but
apparently I need to invest in some more wigs is what I was told. So anyway, why don't you tell us some social media? I have one more thing to share with everybody, of course, which is this. This is, of course, the Avalon webpage. I'm going to drop this into the chat. So if you guys want to go check out more of what Brandon does, obviously go to the Kickstarter first. That's where you have the most impact to help Avalon. When you support crowdfunding, it's the most important thing for us indie creators, because that's how we are guaranteed to continue making more original content, stuff that you're not going to find these days. So please go to the Kickstarter. But you can go poke around in here. And this is, of course, 1282. Can you tell us what 1282 is pretty quick?
No.
Yeah,
okay. No, I can't. No,
Forget it. Okay, go ahead.
No, so 1282 is very quickly a company that Alan and I have been working on from the beginning, since basically we were figuring out Avalon. We wanted 1282. It's a production that we created and we're uplifting with the projects that we're working on. The idea of it is to basically be our own bosses. We don't want people telling us how to make our projects, and the idea of it in the future and all that stuff too is to kind of open the door for other independent people. I've actually talked to you and others about it as well. As again, it's a similar kind of concept, I guess, in the comic world as Image. It's your IP, it's your stuff, and all that stuff too. But it's just not having anybody tell you what to do. It's your stuff. Alan, when he was in a band, he's had to deal with that, but he wanted to. That was the idea though too. It's just doing what you know that you like, and the same thing goes for Avalon. We're telling the story. We believe in the story. We're not going to have anybody go, oh, I believe this and this and that. But the idea, the name kind of came from, it was our hourly rate when we were talking about this. We were making $12.82. So we decided, and it was a crucial time. It was a hard time. Obviously we weren't making much. And then, and then $12.82 just rolls off the tongue. It sounds cool.
Yeah, it
and
does.
Alan said, once we say the name, we'll know when we know. And when we said that was it. It just stuck. But yeah.
Cause wants to know, Erie is a 2-hour haul north. Would you ever go south to Steel City Con in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I definitely would. It's kind of hard to get in there. There's a huge waiting list. I tried to get in this year, but I was a little late to the punch. I just have to invest more time into seeing how long, trying to get in there is. I would definitely love to go down there. I think it'd be an awesome trip for us. But there's a long waiting list for the vendors there too. So I have to figure out on how to get there.
Hey, Pops. It's okay. We got this.
It's yeah. I am disappointed I didn't get to see him today, but it's okay.
What? You've summoned the Kraken, so don't be surprised if he shows up. If he pops in the next second or two.
All right,
anyway, tell us your social media. Where should we follow you, Brandon, so we can keep touch and make sure we are in the know for all of the things Avalon?
You can find us on any social media platform at this point. I feel like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the good stuff. Look up Avalon Comic. You'll be able to find us. We have a website, avaloncomic.com. And all of our social medias are tagged under there as well. But most importantly, the time sensitive thing would be the Kickstarter right now too. Just look up Avalon Comic on Kickstarter. You'll find us, and you've shared the stuff too, but time sensitive there. But everywhere else you can find us by looking up Avalon Comic.
Gotcha. And I'm just gonna throw that link up on the screen if I can find it. Here it is. One more time. So again, remember this. Go back.
Just back it already.
Or there will be consequences. That's it. That's all we got, guys. Any last words, Brandon, before I kick you off the show? Just kidding.
No, that's
it. Good God. All right, everybody. Oh, there is something else I wanted to say. I forgot to say it. I got a package from Spain, believe it or not. Our good friend Christian Douglas, who was here on the show a couple of times, he sent me a care package. I was so excited. Look, I got Pinocchio. Siri, I was not talking to you. I said Pinocchio, which is stop it. Siri, cancel.
Sorry.
It's weird because it's about AI and Siri answered.
So that's
freaks me out. But I have a copy for myself and a copy to raffle off on the show. So we'll be doing this shortly. But I just want.
I was saying, gimme.
Okay.
Are you mocking me, sir?
No, I was saying, gimme.
I was like, what are you doing?
30.
So I'm going to raffle this off on one of the Tuesday morning brews to everybody in the chat, and I will ship it to you. You can have a copy just like I can. So you didn't get one of these? Nah. Well, you could still win it if you participate in the raffle. So very cool, everybody. I'm going to keep the one with the stickers, though. These are for me. I'm keeping it. You guys can have the other one. Make sure you kiss your babies, be excellent to each other, and I will see you all next week. Let me find the button. I got to find the button.
Find the button.
Oh, where is the button? I'm so terrible at this. Here, we'll play this one. All right, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
I don't think that's the one I wanted to play. I really don't know what I'm doing here, guys. I need to find the button. Everything got moved around. Everything was in a certain place. Where the heck is the Madness song? It's gone. We'll play this.
Do you have my espresso bean? How'd you get out of prison? Good lawyer. Enough, Doc. Where's my bean?
I'm just having a moment. I just can't push all the right buttons today.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add